Okay, everybody back in here, because you have to be here to get a prize. Okay, everybody back in here? Can somebody check and make sure nobody's out in the hallway? That's Sharon's philosophy. If you ain't here, you ain't getting it. Yeah, where's Mary? Where'd she go? She was right there. Hey. Okay, yeah, I expect you to. If you donated to this ladies' retreat in any way, please stand up, because we want to thank you publicly, okay? Please stand up. Y'all, there's some good gifts, expensive gifts down there too. Yeah, thank you. You ready? First one, everybody's in? First one's going to Isabella Cobos. Okay. How about, Rose said I didn't have to go quite so fast. Pam Thaxton? Yes. Hannah Gaynor. Samantha Cook. Okay, you got to stand up so we can find you. Samantha, she's back there. Okay, we're going to do all of these this time. Ann Trocum, where you at, Ann? There you go. Make some noise, Ann. One of my best friends, Sarah Huff. Malia Bell, where you at, girl? Make some noise. You got to stay standing, Malia. Okay, Christy Davis. No, Keisha Davis, excuse me. Keisha Davis. Y'all want to know something funny? She just came up to me at the break and said, I don't have my name in the thing, because she came in later. Good thing she told me. Dixie Pierce. I haven't seen this lady. Janice Holiday. Is Janice here? I didn't see her. Mikey Bell. Where's you at, Mikey? Teenage. Yep. No, it goes. Jessica King, where are you? I know you're here. There you are. Rosella Aguilar, is that right? Jackie Lewis. Another one of my partners in crime. Brittany Blow, where you at? Did you get one? Pick one out. Or have one of those ladies pick one out for you. Which one you want? Rose Massey, where you at, girl? Kayla Parks. Is Kayla Parks here? This is the Parks. Jennifer Cook. So you can have Angela pick you one out. Brittany Royston. Is Brittany here? Is she back from the game? Sarah, oh, she's not here either. Elena Cash. Where you at, Elena? Sharon Scott. Brooke Miller. Lapina Torres. She's not here. Okay. Amy Bridges. She here? There she is. Tanya Blakely. Where you at? Stand up. There you go. Dana Holland. Blair Owens. Is it Lizette? Okay. Thank you. Stand up, Lizette. Stand up, stand up. Kim Jones. Melanie Cobos. Where you at, Melanie? Kim Taylor. Jane Caraway. Leslie Neal. I need some noise. That's the way to do it, sister. Diane Allen. Is Diane Allen here? Okay. Angela Oldham. Kelsey Neal. Yolanda Beatty. Kayla Pater. Kayla Pater. That's it? Are we done? Two more? Oh, yeah, we got, okay. Gabby Williams. Oh, we don't have another. Just so you know, we had a donation for our grand prize tonight, and our grand prize is a Michael Kors purse. So, we are very fortunate. Oh, here we go. Jenna Dennings. So we got two more, right? Four more. Meredith Foster. Meredith Foster. She's not here. Go ahead and say it, Sharon. So say it. Meredith Whipple. Oh. Sorry about that, Meredith. You have to give it to Mom. Okay. Allison Cooper. Is she here? That's fine. Martha Cooper. Christy Avery. Lucille Baker. I haven't seen her. She didn't come. Okay. How many more have we got? One more. Okay, Sheila Tierney. He's not here. You again?
It's me.
Okay, I'm getting out of your way.
No problem. Are y'all having a great time still tonight? All right, last game of the evening. So, trying to be responsible, COVID nonsense. Anyway, we have decided to do a semi-relay race, except you're not going to pass anything around. Don't open your bags. Okay, that's part of the fun. Okay, so we've done the best we can with how everybody's seated. So just listen real quickly so you understand where the teams are. So team A will be these two sections plus just the 6 right there in the back, okay? And then team B is this section and those folks over there. Don't get the counting. It's not equal, but it's the best we can do, okay? So what we're going to do is when the music starts and you're in position, which you don't know what in position means now, but you're going to. When the music starts, we're going to start right down here on the front row. So go ahead and start eyeballing those people. And we're just going to snake our way back. And y'all can go, like when you get to the Cobos, y'all can go like over there and then back, or you can move back down, however you want to do it. But we need to end up with the last person being the furthest person back in your section, okay? So back here, yeah, it's probably Miss D. Now, if y'all wanted to move real quick, I wouldn't say anything. But it needs to be somebody in the back. And over here, it needs to be somebody on that back. Like I think it's Lori. Man, the preacher, he does a good job at looking at everybody. Because have y'all ever been up here? No, it's hard. Okay, so anyway, when the music starts and you're in position, the very first person, so you ladies on the first row, y'all need to decide who's going to be first. You are going to untie your bag, pull your first piece of jewelry. So there's 3. I'm watching y'all. Don't open that bag. Look at, she got her. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay, 3 pieces of jewelry. So some of them are a little different than others, but nevertheless, there should be 3. If there's not, lucky you, just move on quickly. But after the person before you puts on whatever that first piece, maybe it's glasses, maybe it's a ring, whatever it is, then you beside them get to go. So do we understand? That's very important. That keeps it rolling, 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 rolling. Yes. So let me show you an example. All right. Let's say that I'm beside Brooke and I'm going next. Okay. She's opened her bag and go. Oh, she's got the first thing on. I can start to open my bag. And on and on and on. So when the person in front of you gets the first piece of their jewelry on, whatever it is, you may begin, open your bag and get dressed. Okay. Get jewelried up. That's what we're talking about. Oh, I'm going to give you your position. You're going to like this. Okay. All right. Everybody understand that? All right. Now, I'm a former educator, so if you don't understand it, I haven't done my job. Okay. So the way we're going to get into position is you're going to stand up. You're going to take your bag. You're going to turn around. And you're going to put your bag on your pew. And then you're going to turn back around and look at me. Because looking at me makes you feel better about yourself, okay? That's what we're here. It's an encouragement night, okay? All right, when the music, let me say, last people on both sides. Here's how you win. What do you win? Bragging rights, okay? A and B, A, B rows. Okay, so last person on each side, when you are done, you've got all 3 pieces of jewelry on. You're going to run to the front. So, okay? You're going to come here. Oh, the best part, I forgot. Once you have your jewelry on, we're going to be playing the chicken dance song. So you're going to do the chicken dance. Now, before your jewelry's on, you don't have to do the chicken dance. If you have a moral objection to the chicken dance, there's no exception tonight. This is not the mask mandate. There are exceptions to that. There is no, I'm kidding. If you really don't want to, do what you got to do. But anyway, you've got it. You're the last person. You're going to run up here. You're going to do the chicken dance one time through. First side to do that is the winner. Y'all got this? You got it. Do what? Who goes first? This is your side, so it's one of these 2. Okay, here we go. Stay in your seat. Are we videoing this live? Wait. Are we videoing this? Okay, great. They're videoing it. Look, we're going to call it the chicken exercise, not even a dance. Okay? It's a demonstration. No, we don't want to call it that. All right, so here we go. First, folks, get ready. Go. You got to do it the whole time. Looking good, ladies. You're running about neck and neck, A and B. Let's go, speed it up. Remember, you can start as soon as they get that first piece of jewelry on. All right, get ready. Yes, you can tear the bag open. Uh-oh, hey, oh my. All right, B, they're coming for you. Not many left. Almost down to single digits. Keep going, keep going, keep going. We're playing it again. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Uh-oh. Man, Team A, they're... Uh-oh. B might be coming back. Uh-oh. I don't even know this. Whoa. Safirith. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. We got a runner! Come on, Lauren! Okay, wait. Oh.
Do it, me.
Okay, ready? We're just gonna let her do it to have fun, so get ready. One time and we're done, ready?
And start, okay. Thank you.
Give Team B a round of applause. You wanna do it?
It's not.
Go, turn it back. Let's do it. You wanna do it?
I came over here to chicken dance.
Let's go. Give a round of applause. Both ladies did great. Thank you so much. You may be seated. Oh. And I've often told the preacher when he retires, he probably should write a book, What I've Seen from the Pulpit. and I'm going to write the preface. And I've marked all your faces and names. No, thank you so much. God bless you. We appreciate you having us.
That was a little bit wild. But I like that. I was afraid y'all were going to get sleepy on me, but nah. If you get sleepy, you're just pulling my leg, as they say, because you have plenty of life in you, okay? Okay. Well, let's get right into what an encourager looks like. And just be real practical here for a minute. First of all, on your little outline, an encourager is friendly. And you know, the simplest form of encouragement is a smile. It's a smile. And my friend of mine said it's a ministry of a smile. And I know it's hard to smile with mask on, but most of you don't have a mask on, so you can smile at me. But, you know, even with a mask, we can smile with our eyes, and we can give a little wave, can't we? A smile is very, very important. Have you ever heard that little chorus, you can smile when you can't say a word? You can smile when you cannot be heard, whether cloudy or fair. You can smile anytime, anywhere. So that's a form of encouragement, just to smile. An aunt of mine worked in a bank in South Georgia for many years, and the bank president had this policy. He told his employees, many times he said, if you can't smile, don't come to work. Now, I guess that meant they didn't get paid. I don't know. But she said he would often walk around the bank just kind of checking, you know, see how people are smiling. Smiling is very important. Smile, you know, everywhere, to your family, to your friends and neighbors. But I'm going to think especially at church. And I want to zero in on being friendly at church. I kind of call it church friending. We can smile. That's true, but we need to go a little bit beyond that. And I know the COVID thing has gotten us all a little, I don't know what we got, but we're not quite ourselves, are we? But you know, I think it's so important to take time just to chat, just a moment, and not just rush out. A kind word goes a long, long ways. There's a verse in the Bible. It's Proverbs 12:25. Heaviness in the heart of a man maketh it stoop, but a good word maketh it glad. And we just stop to say hi to somebody, or how are you? I missed you lately, or just the least little thing. It means a lot. I experienced this myself not too long ago. Actually, it was like in September, we went to Southeastern's graduation. And we drove on campus, and all of a sudden, I just kind of felt my heart stoop. And I'm not really a real up and down person, I don't think. But I was thinking, I had come there for 22 years and taught the ministry mate class. And this year, I wouldn't be doing it. And it was just time. A lady that I couldn't ask to be more perfect for the class has taken the class, and it was just the right thing. But I was just a little bit sad because I thought, I'm going to miss the girls. I like getting to know the students and seeing them excited about what the Lord has for them. So I was just feeling a little sad. And we got in the Southeastern vestibule, and I went down to the restroom, and as I was going, there were 4 graduates about to graduate, female graduates lined up there, and they had all been in my ministry mate class. So I stopped just to chat just a minute and see how they were doing this and that. And we were talking, and one of them looked at me and said, Miss Patrick, we're going to miss you. I just could feel it. My heart was not stooping down anymore. It was just lifted me. And it was just Mrs. Patrick, we're going to miss you. 7 words. We can do that, ladies. We can say something to people. And just be a blessing, and just take a moment to chat just a minute. It's very, very important. Learn people's names. I bet how many of you think you're really good at that? Did you raise your hand? Learning names? It's hard, isn't it? It is. I don't think too many of us think Yeah, some of us are really can do it, but I can't. I have a little trick that I learned years ago. I keep a sticky note in the front of my Bible, and when they walk away, I write their name down. And if I didn't get it, I'll call somebody over and I'll say, "Who is that?" And I'll write it down. And then while I'm sitting in church sometime and I'm looking around a little bit, maybe music's playing, I will kind of look at my name and think, I'll see them and I'll think, what was that? And I look at my name. I'll do that until I just about learn everybody on my sticky note, and I revise my sticky note. That's important. We have to make a little effort, but if we call, don't you like to have your name called? Yes, we do. And so just learn people's names at church particularly. I'm zeroing in on church here. And then I would encourage you to have what I call to be an encourager, to have a section ministry. And it kind of shepherd your section at church. How many of you usually sit in the same spot? We're kind of like that, aren't we? Well, kind of consider the people beside you and maybe a row or two behind, a row or two in front. Shepherd those people. Get to know them, where they're from, how long they've lived here. It'll take a while, but just as you're chatting, maybe you'll find out if they're going through some kind of health problem or their parent is sick. Then you can be more of an encourager because you can send them a text or drop them a note or just something, do a little something for them. I think that's a good idea. Ask someone to sit with you if it's convenient. I mean, if you meet somebody in the vestibule and they're by themselves, just saying, would you like to sit with me today? Particularly, not a man to a woman, a woman to a man. But there's a friend of mine that's just so good at that. She don't tell how many visitors she has made feel comfortable by just saying, you want to sit with me today? Just that first time. I try to think, what would I feel like if I walked into church? I didn't know anybody, and I felt like I needed to be in church. And I walked in. What would I want? Would I want somebody to speak to me? Would I want somebody to smile at me? Would you? Would I want somebody, maybe even another lady, to say, would you like to sit with me today? I would like that. I'd rather than go in, like, where am I going to sit? Right by myself, Oh, it makes all the difference in the world. So I would encourage you to do that. And then in being a friendly person, be led of the Holy Spirit. Sometimes the Holy Spirit just nudges us and says, why don't you do that? Why don't you speak to them? Why don't you do this? Why don't you be friendly? Reach out. This was illustrated so well to me by a little girl in the Shady Grove Free Will Baptist Church. She's the daughter of the pastor there and his wife, Tim and Stephanie McCright. And her name is Eden, and she was 9 at the time. And her mother shared this little story with me. She said, at the time, the family lived right across the street in the parsonage. And her mother said Eden told her, asked her, Mom, can I go to Sunday school before you go even, like maybe 10 to 15 minutes, about 15 minutes early? She said, well, yes, you can do that. So Eden had been doing that several Sundays, and it occurred to her mother, she says, Eden, what are you doing when you go early? Are you helping your dad? What are you doing? She said, oh, I go to the senior saint class, and I give them all a hug. A child, 9 years old. She's being an encourager. And get this, then her mother said, well, Eden, that's so nice. What made you think of that? And she said, the Lord told me to do it. Is that not the sweetest thing ever? If a child can do that, we can. And we know what that is. We think, it's not just a thought that passes our mind. Many times it's the Holy Spirit speaking to us. Why don't you speak to them? Why don't you say something? Why don't you ask them to sit with you? It means the world, really. I have a story I want to share with you. It happened at Wildwood Free Will Baptist Church, where we've been going since we left Faith retirement. And there was a lady there that shared this in a testimony a few years ago, and I was very impressed with it. So I asked her when I was going to talk about being friendly if she would write it out for me. And so I'm not going to read it all to you. I'll tell you some, but I will read you a little bit her words. Her name is Shasta Gandy, and I think we have a picture of her, guys. There she is. Nice smile, isn't it? So Shasta said she didn't really grow up in church. She was married. She had 2 small children, and her grandmother died January 1, 2014. And that got her thinking about life and death, serious thoughts that she had not been thinking before. And so she said to her husband, she said, I think we need to go to church. And he said, well, he wasn't very interested. He said, but I don't care if you go. And there was a church just a mile down the road, and that was Wildwood Free Will Baptist Church. So Shasta said she decided she'd go, and she took her little 5.5-year-old boy with her that day. I am going to read you this. She said, when we first got there, I was absolutely nervous. And you can tell she's an outgoing person just by looking at her. But she was nervous. She walked in like that. She said, but I didn't know anyone, but no worries, because I had my son, Sean. He wasn't going to leave me. We walked in the door and immediately were greeted by the children's minister. He asked me if Sean could go to children's church. Sean looked at me, and I gave him the approving nod, and off he went, and I was all alone. So there I was, alone and nervous. I continued to walk in, and I sat on the back pew. I would watch people come in, and they would wave hello to me, and some said, welcome to Wildwood. It was about 15 minutes into the service, and the choir had just finished singing their special. After they were done, the preacher dismissed them, and I saw this sweet lady walk all the way to the back of the church and sit down right beside me. I looked at her, and she looked at me with the sweetest smile. And from that moment on, I felt right at home. Girls, I'm not making this up. This is what this lady said. Her friendly gesture of sitting beside me because she knew I was nervous and alone made all the difference in the world to me. She did not know me, nor did I know her. After the service, she introduced herself and told me she was glad to see me. After the service, Sean and I went home, and I told my husband all about the woman who made me feel so welcome. I ranted and raved about my experience at church and told him I thought we should go back there, and he should come with me. I told him he would absolutely love it. All this is because this lady sat down with her and was friendly. Okay, so she says before we could go back the next Sunday, she said, I didn't know that this is what churches did, but the preacher came by to see us. And she said, so, we had 2 small children. Sean was 5.5, and their little girl, Olivia, was not quite 2. So she said, he was talking with my husband, and I was in and out of the room getting the kids settled. And she said, when I came back in the room, my husband, Daniel, was in tears. And I found, the preacher told us that Daniel had just been saved. Okay, yes, you keep that right there. I'm getting to that. So she said, our whole family now will be in, I'm backing up here. It was amazing. Daniel accepted Christ, and she got right with the Lord. A year later, Sean was saved. That's the son. And after that, her daughter Olivia, just a few years later, was saved. Nice-looking family, aren't they? So let me tell you about them. We are now faithfully serving in church. And remember, this is 2014, so that's been 6 years ago. Daniel is an usher. I teach Wednesday night Pee Wee and sing in the choir. My son Sean also serves in the church, and he's part of the singing ministry. Olivia enjoys going to church, being involved with all the classes, and she's also a part of the singing ministry. Get this. Just a few months ago, Sean went to a youth conference and felt the Lord call him to preach. This is all blessings from God. Then she said, this is the last little paragraph. Due to the friendliness of Miss Judy in the next picture, guys, Miss Judy, who I know God used that day to reach me, a whole family will be with Jesus. I will always remember her kindness that she showed me, a complete stranger, that day. And I took this picture Wednesday night at prayer meeting. I said, y'all, I'm talking about friendliness. And I know y'all, I knew kind of a little bit of the story. I didn't know all of these details. And so I said, is this the pew you sat on when you came? She said, yes. I said, well, sit right there. I want this picture. Now, isn't that sweet, ladies? I hope you remember that story. And I hope, friendliness does pay eternal dividends. It truly does. If anything ever illustrates this, it's that story. Then I got to thinking to myself, that's good, guys, or you can just leave those smiles up. I don't care. But I got to thinking, what if that had been me that the Lord spoke to in the choir and said, why don't you go sit with that lady back there? She's visiting. Ladies, I can be honest with you. I would have said, well, Lord, I don't want to draw attention to her, and it might embarrass her, but I promise you I'll go during the benediction, and I'll stand there, and I'll introduce myself right after church. I'm like that. I might would have done that. I hope not. But, you know, I do that sometimes. I back off, and I don't want to be like that. You know, I think you probably heard this before. When we as Christians sometimes are considering something that might be wrong, we think it's wrong, but we're not sure, and we're trying to decide if it's wrong. You've heard that old saying, when in doubt, don't. You heard that? Nod your head. See y'all back there? It is hard up here. Nod your head. When in doubt, don't. Well, it occurred to me a few years ago. I was considering something good to do. I don't remember what it was now, but say something like being friendly or reaching out to somebody or sending sometimes even a text or something. You say, well, I don't want them to think I'm, you know, being too forward or something. When you're considering something good to do, I thought, you know what, I ought to live by this. If it's good, when in doubt, do. And I say that to myself quite a bit. If it's something good, when in doubt, go ahead and do it. You know, I've never regretted it. Go ahead and do it. Don't vacillate. Just go ahead. So I love this statement by Vance Havner. It's God is interested in the one, even in church. God is interested in the one, even in church. And we should be. One, just one lady. But look at our whole family now. So I just thought that was a great illustration. I hope it's something that you can remember. And I'm trying to paint a picture of an encourager tonight and give us some ideas. And certainly an encourager is friendly. That's a start. Starts with a smile. It starts with being friendly. And then secondly, an encourager is a creative person somewhat. Sometimes we think in the box, like encouraging, maybe a card, a text, and sometimes we have to think outside the box, like a piece of pound cake, which I love, or a washcloth, and I'll explain that as we go along. You know, but we can encourage in so many different ways, and I'm going to give you some true illustrations. I knew I needed to do something at this point in time. It's not quite as late as we're running a little ahead, but I thought they're going to get sleepy on me. So I'm just going to try to tell them some good stories, but these are true stories now. But the first one is, I read in a little daily devotion in the little daily bread devotion. It was called The Man in Seat 2D. And it tells a story of a true story of this lady named Kelsey, who was going down the aisle, a little narrow aisle, navigating her way down of the airplane there. And she had her little 11-month-old daughter, Lucy, in her arms, and Lucy had an oxygen machine. So she gets down, and she finally gets to her seat, and she gets all settled. And Leslie, Kelsey, sees, I'm taking this necklace off, it's bugging me here, trying to get close to the mic, and it's dingy. Kelsey sees a flight attendant making her way, and she said, I think she's coming right to me. She's looking at me. So she gets to her, and she says, there's a man in seat 2D that wants you to switch seats with you. Well, seat 2D happened to be first class. So she went, oh my goodness. So she gets up and gets her little girl and her oxygen machine, and she passes that man in the aisle. Don't you think they were both blessed? You know, what a sweet story. You say, well, I would never have to get to do that because I would never have a first-class airplane seat. But listen to this one. I think we could all do this one. This is a lady named Stacy Truman, a cafeteria manager in Virginia Beach. And she wanted to be an encourager. She got the idea of writing notes on the bananas that were in a basket for the kids to choose, you know. She would write notes like, you're amazing. Make someone smile today. Don't quit. Don't give up. She wrote these little notes on bananas. Now, that's thinking outside the box, wouldn't you say, ladies? And, you know, we can do that for our children. Of course, you know about notes in boxes and all, but notes in bananas, that's pretty good, isn't it? Another one, this happened just recently. You might have followed them on Facebook. A lady from Goldsboro grew up in our church, Blair Flores to Carlo. Their little boy, Winston, was very, very sick, and he did pass away, and the funeral was just a couple of weeks ago. But the last time he was in the hospital in Greenville, she put this on Facebook about a man, a worker in the hospital. He came out of their room, and he looked in, and he asked her if he could come in and talk with her just a minute. So she said yes, and he told her, he said, the Lord told me to give you an encouraging word today. And then he asked if he could have prayer. And he did. And she said he prayed the most beautiful prayer. Later that day, he came back and prayed again. And then the next day, he came and brought a little Afghan that his wife had made and gave it. She had Winston all covered up in it. And this is what Blair said. She said, I will never forget him. Jesus is real, and he works through the hands and feet of his people. I've never been more sure. Is that not powerful? You know, we can have prayer with somebody. We can. You say, well, I don't know if I could be that. But yes, if the Lord impresses you to, you impress that man to, and what that meant to that mother that day. I just thought that was an excellent story. Then my husband was preaching a revival at Micro, Free Will Baptist Church, a couple of 3 years ago, and it was on a Friday night, and we came out of the service, and I kind of looked down the hall, one of the halls, and it looked like a farmer's market in there. It did. There were baskets, and there were vegetables, and there were fruits, and of course, I had to find out why. Well, come to find out, Jerry and Ann Huff, and I'm sure you all know here, they had been helping at the church at Micro. And, of course, I found out the whole story. Found out that Brother Huff would go to the farmer's market here on Wednesday or Thursday and get some things that weren't too old and gather them up. And then after some of the people at the farmer's market knew what he was doing, some of the vendors, they just gave him good, fresh stuff. And then he had a little round he made of widow ladies and shut-ins that he went to. I thought that was one of the sweetest things I had ever heard. And he would take them to them on Thursdays. Well, Micro got what was left. And I took some home. I mean, it's a bunch of stuff, you know. But how precious is that? And you think what a blessing that was to those folks. And that's thinking outside the box. I know of a sweet teenagers. Teenagers, you're here tonight, and I'm proud of you for being here. This is a great place to be and a great place to learn how to be a Christian lady, Christian woman, but this was a teenager in the Hosky Free Will Baptist Church, and she said she was so bashful that she just couldn't talk to people. So you know what she did? She started talking to the older people. That was her idea. That'll work, because older people always talk to you. I guess I'm one of them now, but they're easy to talk to. So that's how she kind of learned to be friendly. Well, anyway, she made a practice for several years. She picked out an older person in the church, and she did the 12 days of Christmas with them. You know, a little gift, dollar store gift, whatever you can think of, cookies, 12 days before Christmas, and then on Christmas Day, she would reveal herself. What a blessing to her and to those folks. And then I heard our son Lee preach a sermon on encouragement a few months ago, and I took a few notes from him. He said, be sure and call my name. I said, Lee. If you know Lee, he would say that. But anyway, he shared a couple interesting illustrations. He said that he was feeling just a little bit down one morning in his office, and one of his church members texted him a song. Well, I can be honest with you, I never thought of texting a song. But he said that just did me the most good. It was just a perfect song for lifting me up that day. So I thought, well, that's a great idea. Then he told another one about, it was back in the spring, in the beginning of the COVID gloom, and he was at a graveside, and you couldn't get out to right at the end. You couldn't mix and mingle with the family like you usually could. So he's sitting there and just feeling a little gloomy, I think, from the way he talked. Well, he picked up a Bible, and it was a new Bible he had just started using from the pulpit, not his everyday Bible, but his pulpit Bible, like the night before. And so he knew where it came from. Greg Flores' church up in Upper Peninsula had given him that new Bible some years ago, and he was waiting till his old one wore out, I guess. So he just picked it up, and he'd forgotten that some people had written notes in the front of it. I see you back there. And one person wrote this, and he was reading the notes, and he was re-blessed. Do y'all know what re-blessed means? You ever had a note that re-blessed you? You come across it? So he'd read them before, but he'd forgotten they were even there. One note was, my son Ryan was saved today. Thank you for coming and helping our church. P.S. And thank you for allowing me to beat you in ping pong. I think Lee might have thrown that in there, I'm not sure. But just the power of a little one-sentence note. It's a great power of encouragement. And then one of the sweetest gifts my husband and I ever received, and this is where I got I was talking about washcloths, was this older lady in our church that Miss Joan knows really well, Miss Cindy Rhodes. She lived in this senior downtown apartment. She didn't have much. But one year for Christmas, she always gave us something. But this particular gift I really remember. She gave us 2 washcloths. Y'all, I never used those, hardly ever. I'm sure I did a few times, but most times I used them, and they were just in the regular stack. I thought about Miss Cindy, and I was re-blessed. Just 2 washcloths. Thinking outside the box. We can be a blessing if we want to. Now, this is an illustration, a true story again, of a husband and wife who, when they got married, they just kind of happened. I don't know how it all came about, but they formed the habit of he would put toothpaste on her toothbrush, and she would put toothpaste on his toothbrush. And this went on for years. And after years passed, they started having some marital problems, and they thought they went to see a marriage counselor, and the counselor, talking with the man, asked him one of the questions he asked. He said, "When did you first notice that something was wrong?" And he said, "When she quit putting toothpaste on my toothbrush." That was his answer. You know, we say little things mean a lot, don't they? Don't they, ladies? They certainly do. So what does an encourager look like? Oh, it looks like a lot of things. It looks like the man in the seat 2D. It looks like Miss Cindy, who will give us a washcloth for Christmas. It looks like someone who writes a sweet note, someone who would text a song. That's an encourager, just all the things that I've named tonight. Someone who will stop and pray with you, a teenager who will do the 12 days of Christmas and just stop and talk, just chat with the older folks at church. A cafeteria lady writing notes on bananas. All these are encouragers. But for the final encourager story that I want to give tonight is someone we all know well, Brother Fred. And you know, if there was one word that emerged when Brother Fred passed away about his life, I believe it was the word, he was an encourager. He was. And I saw a little video of him going to the lady's house, and he might have gone to more than one, with a sign that he made. He was a great sign maker, a happy birthday sign, and standing out in the yard and singing happy birthday. Now that is thinking outside the box. But you know, where there's a will, there's a way, isn't there, ladies? He wanted to be a blessing. He wanted to encourage her. And so he got away. It was COVID days or not. He stood in the yard, sang happy birthday, and now we're talking about it now, and hopefully we won't forget it. I might look at my notes. I want to mention one more. Oh, I think I saw this on Facebook, but I think what Brother Jonathan Wayshak wrote about him, that Brother Fred would walk by his office door and say, "You're doing a good job, sport." Just a little word, but Jonathan, that meant a lot to him, and he'll never forget it now, particularly. And then I thought about one more thing about that just recently I heard in these last days about Brother Fred getting off his bus route. I'm sure he's taking the bus kids home. It's probably 1:30. It might be hot. It might have been cold. I don't know. But he took the time to go by the grocery store where Brother Jeff was working as a teenager in his youth group. And Brother Jeff was working on Sunday. And Brother Fred didn't think that was a good thing. It wasn't. And he goes in, and he didn't look encouraging because he said to him, "Jeff, you know this is not right. You need to be in church on Sunday." But you know what? He was encouraging him. He was encouraging him to do right, to do the spiritual thing. And what did Brother Jeff tell at his funeral? He hadn't forgotten that, has he? Made a difference in his life. Sometimes we need to say something in love like that to encourage someone not to go a wrong path, because who knows? You start working on Sunday and you go from one thing, you miss church, one thing leads to another. So Brother Fred truly was an encourager, and I hope we'll all remember that in these stories. You know, we don't ever give to get. But when we give, what do we do, ladies? We get, don't we? I'm sure you've experienced this. You've gone to visit somebody, maybe in the nursing home or somebody in the hospital, and when you leave, you think, I meant to be a blessing, but I've been more blessed than I think they were. They blessed your heart, and that happens. That's the way it goes. Someone said this: encouragement is a tonic you give to others, and then you get a boost from it yourself. And that is so very true. And I want to say, if we'll live the life of an encourager, it's one of the greatest antidepressants in the world. It is. You might not even do I don't know, I couldn't get into that, but I'm just saying, it's a great antidepressant. And I wanted to encourage all of us to be more of an encourager. It's certainly, the last point is, an encourager is friendly, the first one, creative, thinks inside the box, thinks outside the box, and an encourager is obedient. Because truly God has said we're to love one another, we're to edify one another, we're to help one another, we're to provoke one another to good works. It's a command from the Lord. And I hope we will choose to be. Now, we're not going to be perfect. But I would like for all of us to ask ourselves the question, on a scale of 1 to 10, where am I as an encourager? I'm asking myself that question. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would I be? Where would the Lord put me as being obedient in this area of encouragement? You know, there's not a lot of direct things said in the Bible to women. Titus 2, 3 through 5, Proverbs 31, that's about it. But in Proverbs 31, God gave the pattern for a Christian woman, a Christian lady. And in verse 17, he says this, that she reaches forth her hand to the poor, and she stretches out her arms to the needy. And that's action. She didn't just wait till somebody said, well, you do so-and-so, or you help me do so-and-so. She was looking for opportunities to be a blessing to the poor. I think the poor in spirit could easily fit there. And she was reaching out to the needy, not just needy in physical things, but needy emotionally, needy spiritually. This is the way God wants us to be as women. He wants us to reach out, stretch out our arms, look for ways to be an encourager. My husband and I just recently read that the U.S. Senate voted some years ago, I didn't know it till now, but that September the 12th would be National Day of Encouragement. Of course, following 9/11, but it's a National Day of Encouragement. And I just want to challenge all of us, ladies, to make our lives every day a day of encouragement. And some years ago, I started doing this, and it helps. There again, I kind of believe in evaluating ourselves. I do believe in it. But I took a journal, and I called it my Others Journal. And every day I write it, I date it in just a line or so. But if I did something for somebody that day, it just helps me. It helps me to keep thinking about others. So tonight, Miss Pam is going to give out 3 Others journals that I brought. And if you get one, you just consider it directly from the Lord, okay? But anyway, that helps me. You don't have to. You can use it however you want to. But I'm calling it an Others journal. But just let it become a habit of your life, and then be led of the Holy Spirit in all of it. If He speaks to our hearts and says, "You need to reach out," don't just pass that off and say, "Well, I'm so busy today, I can't even think straight." No. Consider that a directive from the Lord. I want to close with this illustration. There was a village in France in World War II that was highly bombed by the Germans. And when it was over, the villagers were just assessing the damage and so on, and they immediately saw that the beloved statue of Jesus that they had in the middle of their square had been damaged, and particularly that both of his hands were knocked off. And they began to look around in the rubbish, and they found enough of the hands that they thought they could put it back together. And they did, and then they tried reattaching it to the statue, and it just didn't look right. And you know what they finally decided to do? They put up a sign that said, "Christ has no hands, but our hands. And I just want to leave us with that thought tonight. He really doesn't. He could do anything he wants to do, but he chooses. He honors us by asking us to be his hands and be his feet. And maybe live by that motto. Others, Lord, this, others. Let this my motto be. May I live for others, that I might be like thee. And so I'm encouraging us all tonight to move up on the scale of encouragement. And we need that. I like to be encouraged, don't you, ladies? But you know what? We find when we become an encourager on a daily basis, we get more blessed than they do, actually. So let's live that way. I know God will be pleased. I know this church will be and I think you do. I'm not saying you don't, but we could all improve is what I'm saying. And the church, my son gave this illustration too. I guess I'll give him credit for it. But he said, we live in a day of masks, all right? We all know about that. And what do you do when you kind of get out and get away from the crowd? You want to get a breath, right, girls? You just, give me a breath and put it back. Church should be like that when we come to church. Church should be like a breath of fresh air. We take off what we've had to put up with in the world and the news and all this stuff, and we come to church. What makes it that way? We make it that way. As we talk, we chat, we smile, we're friendly, we're reaching out to others. We make an encouraging place, and I know this place already is, but I just know we can do more and do better, and I know the Lord would be pleased with that. So let's close with a word of prayer. Lord, thank you so much for the time together tonight. Thank you for these ladies, who each and every one, and teenagers that came out, Lord, I believe, with a need in their heart, or they wouldn't be here on a Friday night. And help us all to learn and to determine to walk with you and let the sunshine of your word be in our lives every day, and then let our light shine out for you, Lord, to go forth from our light. There's so many with so many burdens, and they don't know where to turn. They don't have you. They need someone. There's so many Shastas out there, Lord, that just know there's a spiritual need, and they just come to church looking for something. Help us to be a part of their feeling warmth and welcome, and making it easy for them to get right with you, Lord. Continue to bless the ladies here. Thank you so much for them, and may this time together be profitable. For we pray in Jesus' name, amen.
We had another door prize that I forgot to give out. I had it in my purse and was going to put it in a bag and forgot. So somebody else gets lucky. And if you got one already, please don't get this one. Leslie, you got one already, sorry. Sorry, she's not here. She won't. How about Diane Invonisiv? She's not here. Well, okay, she's not here. Hannah Gaynor, did you get something already? You did? Okay. Thank you for being honest. Because this is a massage from one of the ladies here in the church. Not a massage. It's a gift certificate. I know this one has got some noise. Paula Roberts. Okay, for the journals. Okay. And Miss Patrick has graciously signed them and dated them so that you will remember that this was the encouragement even through COVID and all of its issues. Okay, the first one goes to Madison Hamilton. Where you at, Madison? Mary, can you come help out? Yeah. The next one goes to Darby Atkins. And the last one is going to go to Kristen Williamson. So, okay, for the grand prize, we have the Michael Kors purse. So I'll put these back in here so everybody gets an opportunity. Do you want to see it before they get it? There's the bag. That's what you get. Yes, it was donated. I can't get the knot out. Okay, here we go. Let's sit it right here. Okay, y'all ready? Whoever gets this better shout with a lot of joy, because I will be jealous. Yasmin Costuo. She's keep going, okay. Okay, here we go again. Sorry. Gabby Williams. Yeah, or should we say Lori? Come get it, Gabby. Come get it. Come on, Lori.
You can re-gift it at Christmas.
Yeah, there you go. I personally want to thank you ladies for coming. It was fun. It was fun. And it was a blessing to be able to do this for you guys. And if you have your own business and you would like to donate for next year, you come see me. I'll take it. Thank you.
I hope you've enjoyed this Friday evening. Have you enjoyed this Friday evening? Yeah. Very good. We all needed it, as we've already stated before. We all needed it, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you take home a lot of what Miss Brenda said. If you just take one thing, that's great. But she gave us a lot of things to take in and give out. I know I have been, like she said, the Lord has, spoken to me before to encourage someone. But have you ever been on the receiving end of it? Sometimes that's just an answer to prayer. Whenever you are on the receiving end because you needed something that day and someone obeyed and gave you a word or a note or a card, get well card, or, a meal. We've had some of that this week or this past few weeks, and I know we've had a lot of prayers, we've had a lot of cards. I know that you can say that too. That's just an answer to prayer to other people through you for their heart, and to know that the Lord still cares. And in those moments you might think nobody cares or remembers or whatever, go the extra mile to do something for someone. And like Miss Brenda said, which I appreciate so much, you'll receive the blessing. And so let's just do that. I think it'll be awesome for us to, that's when we get strengthened and our church is strengthened because of it. So thank you again for coming. I know it's a little later. The preacher doesn't normally keep us this late, does he? But we thank you for coming. It's a Friday night. You can go to bed late. It's okay. And enjoy yourself. Be safe going home. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you on Sunday.